The other day, my cousin was showing me her latest market purchases for my aunt. They had found some really beautiful navy blue separates with a coordinating scarf, and then there was also a really beautiful pink top. And to wear with the pink top, they had found a beautiful pair of delicate pink earrings. And I commented and said, oh, the pink earrings would also look really good with the blue separates and the blue pieces as well. And my cousin's reaction was like lukewarm. And even my aunt, when I asked her about pairing the pink with the blue, she said she'd prefer to wear the blue items with some sort of blue accessory. My cousin and my aunt were thinking of those pink earrings as tools to create harmony in a look, to be intentionally matched with that pink top. I, on the other hand, wasn't thinking about how those earrings matched one piece. I was thinking about how they played with all the pieces that were in front of me. None of us were wrong. We were just seeing this one pair of earrings completely differently. And this is the beauty of accessories. It's also the beauty of what I have been seeing on the streets of Italy. I think Italians are masters when it comes to accessories. So I'm gonna share a few more examples that will hopefully allow you to get more use out of the accessories you already have to make better outfits. I love this example of how the color of the accessories were deliberately chosen, at least it looks like it, to change the proportions of this look. The jacket is a midi length, which is a little bit difficult to pull off with flats, but because the black boot elongates and pairs with the black in the background of the trouser, it pulls the eye down and creates a really beautiful long line at the bottom of the look. And then the white bag, which is the same color as the coat, again creates a nice long line at the top. So if the shoes in the bag had been high contrast colors here, it would have been a lot less harmonious and the eye wouldn't know where to land. Whereas this, with just the accessory choices, tells a really beautiful and cohesive story. Okay, here's another really awesome use of color. This was on a mannequin at a vintage store in Bologna. I almost bought that bag. I did not. It's like a vintage 1970s Gucci. Anyway, this is a fantastic example of how color is used to bridge two seasons. Normally we think burgundy, fall, winter, dark and heavy, but look how amazing it looks paired with the lighter pink. It's not garish though. It doesn't look out of place because the pink and the burgundy are in a similar color family. Had this been a high contrast like a mint green or another very spring-like pastel, it would have looked fine, but I think it wouldn't look as harmonious and would feel too forced. I also want to talk about casual accessories in a monochrome palette. Look at how good this ball cap looks with this all brown look. Typically we think ball cap, sporty, very North American. This was on the streets of Florence. This man looks so well dressed. He had a wonderful presence about him, and he's wearing a baseball cap. And sorry, I have to take the hair out of my face, I'm so sorry. I thought this was an excellent example of using an elegant styling tip like dressing in monochrome palette or a whole tonal palette is a really nice way to make a more casual accessory feel more elevated. I love how in this example, shape is the element of style that is softening the entire look. It's not about choosing something that matches or the right color. Look at how sharp that ensemble is. The peaked lapel, the lines of the corduroy, the lines of the blouse, everything is feeling really sharp. But that big round organic shape in the earring just softens everything beautifully. And that's like really low effort, but very high visual impact. In this outfit, the shape of the shoe is doing a lot of work to change the proportions of the outfit, not just the vibe like we saw in the last photo. Here, because the shoe is so hefty, it echoes the hourglass shape being made from the super fitted jacket. A pointed and very defined shoe would have also worked really well here, but the heft of the shoe is creating a lot of visual weight and drama at the bottom of the look, which really balances out that top half as well. In this example, the shape of the shoe and the color of the shoes and the socks are also affecting the proportions of this look. The oversized check pattern on the blazer, the fact that it's white, it's boxy, this can feel really top heavy. But because the shoe and the socks are visually heavy from the profile and the color, the whole look feels more balanced. It's also a really nice little echo of the black in the blazer, the bag, and the scarf. We hear a lot about using texture, and I wanted to show you this example of a finer yellow scarf paired with a heavier wool blazer or overcoat in this case. I think this is an amazing example of not following specific texture rules, like wearing certain fabrics only with other kinds of fabrics. I probably never would have paired a scarf that is so fine and delicate with something heavy like a wool structured coat, but it works beautifully here. I think it works well because of the way he styled it. It's styled in a way that feels heavy, so the weight of the scarf is balanced out by the weight of the blazer, like they kind of match each other. But also color is doing a lot of work here too, because there's like a little bit of this kind of orangey gold in his jacket. So it feels really natural. It just feels right. Not done. I also like this example of a belt doing a lot of work to add texture, but they also add a focal point to any outfit. This belt in particular does a lot of work in terms of adding some depth and interest because it's got a little bit of shine and that croc embossed print. This also happens to be a belt that I co-designed with Brave Leather, and a little shameless plug. We've had these out for almost 4 or 5 years now since the pandemic, and I don't know, I'm still wearing mine every day. I created it because a lot of my pieces are very basic and simple, and I love using texture to add a little bit of interest. So there you go. I'm gonna leave a link for you in the description box below. They're made in Canada. It's a family-owned company, and they're just fantastic. So, belts. Easiest way to add texture. This look is such a good example of more is more being an awesome rule to follow when it comes to textured accessories. This look doesn't feel too heavy or like too much, and it's still really cohesive because the texture of the scarf and the bag still play beautifully with all of the prints in the overcoat. Same thing with the glasses. Color is what brings everything together, but texture is what brings the drama. I'm pulling up this photo again because it's also a really good example of using accessories to balance out how you want to feel in your outfit. So clearly she's got really beautifully coiffed hair, kind of a siren-like bombshell silhouette of a jacket with the fur. It's very glam, and even the flared denim feels really like bombshell-esque. And then she's got these super hefty utilitarian shoes. So the look feels really grounded and interesting and a little bit eclectic, all because of the shoes and the footwear choice. So if you're feeling like your look is leaning too hard in one style direction, switch out an accessory for something completely opposite and see what happens. This is also another really good example of using accessories. In this case, it's footwear again, to shift the vibe of the outfit and balance out the aesthetics. I think a ballet flat here or like a slingback would have come across as perhaps too preppy, too proper. I mean, obviously if she needs to go to work or whatever, who knows, maybe she's got like a slingback in her bag and she changed into them at the office. All that to say, the sneaker feels unexpected and fresh and still allows her to like catch her bus or her train or whatever. And the whole look doesn't feel too precious. I think we often forget about layering accessories in the context of layering jewelry, or just using socks as a layer or a scarf over a basic top. These seem kind of obvious, but they add depth and dimension. It's kind of cool. In this case, I love how all of these rings are stacked. We don't know which ones are like, you know, a signature stack that these people wear every single day. And I have to contradict myself here because I also want to say sometimes the most intentional accessory choice is the one you never change. There's nothing wrong with wearing heirloom pieces every single day. This is what creates a signature style. I think it also develops your own taste the more you wear things on repeat. But nothing's to say that you can't stack your favorite everyday necklace with something else on top. Like, for example, these rings in this photo, maybe there are some that they wear every single day. Personally, I always wear my 2 vintage rings, and then I stack a bunch of other rings on another hand, or add a chunky or more organic necklace on top of my heirloom jewelry here. You can add, you can take away, whatever. The world is your oyster. I think I would just challenge all of us to stop seeing accessories as an afterthought and see what happens when we start choosing them with intention, maybe even what happens if we start building our outfits from the accessories up. Who knows, we might come up with new things and new ways to wear our old clothes, which is always what I'm here for. Okay, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next slow fashion video. Ciao!